Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're here today on another episode. On another Friday. At least right now. When
you're hearing this.
If you're listening to it when it first releases, you could listen to it whatever day of the week you want to.
I don't know why you'd want to wait, but I guess you could.
Yeah. So on whatever day that you're listening to this, it's another episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
A podcast for gamers who don't have time to game.
It's very true. That is what we try to focus on here for the majority of our time. And so as an adult, one thing that I find myself doing is spending money on gas.
Oh. Worst.
It's lame. Buying gas is stupid. Maybe one day we'll all have electric vehicles, and
it's especially lame right now.
But yes, this is true. But then we'll be paying higher electric bills when we're charging our cars. But anyway, so I had to get gas the other day, Ryan, and so I went to the gas station. I stuck my card into the machine, and it asked for my zip code. And I go, okay, I know my zip code, and I put in my zip code, and then it comes back and it says, card declined. And I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
Sorry, I don't understand.
I was very confused, and so I'm flipping out. It's like something's wrong with my credit card. What's going on? So I get back in my car. I pull out start pulling up my app for my online banking. I get logged in. And I'm trying to look at my card, and I'm like, I'm just going to try it again. So I get back out and I stick it in again. And my finger drifts to a number that used to be a zip code that I lived under, but is no longer.
It is no longer your zip code.
So I was putting in the zip code. I had put in the zip code for my hometown that I grew up in, which I haven't lived in over 15 years.
It's another part of adulting is forgetting things.
But it was one of those things where it's like, what on and the
where
other
did
thing
that come from?
The other thing is for my job, for my day job, I put in my current zip code every single day.
That's true.
In my current job, every single day, I am putting in my zip code for different reasons.
Probably multiple times a day.
Times a day. Yeah. And for whatever reason, and I did it not once, and I didn't even it didn't click with me until after the fact that I was about to do it a second time. That I didn't my immediate reaction wasn't that I screwed up my zip code. It was no, something is wrong with my credit card.
All my money has been stolen. That's the most logical explanation.
And it was just so it was mind-boggling. And then I was I had to I had to take a step back and be like,
what happened? Why?
Why would I put in a zip code that I literally had and the thing is even when I guess when I was in college I still had to use that zip code, but because it was that was where my account was and everything that, but I don't I haven't used that
long time.
I've used other zip codes more recently than that, besides my current one. That you would think I would default to one of those, but no,
nope.
It was a weird situation. It was a very funny, frustrating situation. So that's my funny story for the week.
I like it.
Yeah, is Josh can't buy gas.
Josh cannot buy gas.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. You don't get any gas today, Josh.
Just gotta go home.
So yeah, that's again one of the things about being a dead tired dad is that sometimes you forget things.
Oh my,
and
so true.
Yeah, you'll make mistakes. Yeah. Do you have anything funny for us this week, Ryan? You don't have to.
Not funny, but
okay.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I was in denial about football being over.
Oh yeah.
No more, my friend. No more, because for me, I know Josh isn't gonna like this, but for me, there's only one sporting event that's better than football.
Better than football.
And that is Christmas in March. March Madness, baby.
There is no sporting event that is better than football.
It is here. It is upon us. It's so glorious starting yesterday over the next 4 days. There is basketball on from 11 a.m. till midnight or later. Every day. Just like 12, 13 hours a day of basketball. And it's just awesome.
So if you're a basketball fan, that would be awesome. Like if you enjoy basketball, that would be great. So congratulations to all you basketball fans out there.
So what's funny is I don't care one bit about the NBA.
And
that's like dead to me. I don't care at all about the NBA, but I love college basketball.
College basketball.
Love it.
And, given where we live...
I'm in a good state for college basketball.
Right. You are in a very good state for college basketball. I am not a fan of college basketball. I'm not really a fan of college sports in general.
Yeah, overall
I'm more like... Really, like, honestly, like, pro football is about it, that and, like, X Games. Like, that's about it as far as, I'm concerned with sports. I can watch baseball, but, it doesn't suck me in the way that football does. Like, I don't...
Now, I will say, like, I do, like, so March Madness as a sporting event is my favorite sporting event, but in terms of just watching any two teams play... Give me the NFL all day long.
Sure.
Because, like, it doesn't matter who the two teams are. When it's NFL, I will watch it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if it's on.
The Lions versus the Browns, I I will watch it. No problem.
Unless it's late in the season. And, Maybe
still. I think I'd still watch it.
You think so? Okay.
At least while like playing Switch or something, but
sure.
Yeah,
you're doing something else.
But sure. I don't do that with college basketball. I'll watch like two, big names or two ranked teams, but I don't necessarily just turn on two random teams.
Right.
But March Madness as like an event is absolutely my favorite.
So we're still like a little bit away from this. But April 16th. Is coming up quick, and then the USFL is launching, so it's like the spring league, so that could be new and exciting.
It's the great thing about sports is there's just always another sport to watch.
Yeah.
It's like
trying to restart that whole thing and compete with the NFL, but not really compete, but give people more football to watch more time throughout the year. I think is at least a noble goal.
That will be interesting.
I don't know how, we've had, let's see, so we had the AFL that tried to launch a couple years ago, and that could have been good, but all of the funding dried up for that. And then you had the XFL that was supposed to launch last year or 2 years ago, I guess, 2020. 2020 happened.
But I saw something yesterday, recently.
The Rock bought it.
It's coming back,
so,
right?
Yeah.
In some form of partnership with the NFL.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't want to get too far into the weeds of football talk because we'll lose our audience.
Oh, that reminds me. Okay. Last thing on sports. So, I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. Early on in our show, we were only a few weeks in, and you were sort of preparing to go to a Packers versus Bengals game.
Yes.
And you kind of started that show by sort of making fun of the Bengals and sort of...
Yeah.
And then what the Bengals proceeded to do is go all the way to the Super Bowl. So, Josh, I need you to talk badly about the Vikings and Colts so that next year they can go to the Super Bowl. That's what I need you to do.
I don't think any act that I could perform would help either of those two teams right now.
Just once, Josh. Just once.
I just did it for you.
Yes,
you did it. Statement right there.
All right. So, guys, put all your money on Vikings versus Colts.
Yeah, no. The thing is, though, the Bengals at the time were not.
They were not
the team that they became.
They absolutely were not.
And the Packers still beat them that game.
They did.
They also beat the Rams. So
see, wouldn't you be happy with that? The Packers beat the Vikings twice, and then the Vikings go on to the Super Bowl.
No, I would not be happy with that. Unless Brett Favre came out of retirement and won the Super Bowl with the Vikings, I would be okay with that.
Don't count him out.
I'm counting him out. Okay, we're done with football.
All right, we're done with that.
We're going to be done with football because we've got another topic to discuss today that I think is really, really important. So we don't have any reviews this week because I wanted
week.
I wanted to talk about this because this is something that is near and dear to my heart when it comes to video games in general. So a couple weeks ago, I got this text message from my wife about this game that was being it's a VR game, so it's available on Steam and on Oculus, called Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Okay.
And I haven't played this game. I hadn't really even heard of it, but I looked it up, and it sounds awesome. Yeah. It sounds like an awesome game where you are, on the bridge of a Star Trek ship, and you get to you play with your, you have a crew of people that you're playing with. So
how could it not be?
It's good? A multiplayer game where you're actually on the command deck.
Yeah.
Of a Star Trek ship and, giving orders and doing missions and things like that as a crew.
Sounds like a blast.
Sounds like an awesome game.
It does.
This game is being pulled from Steam and from the it has been eliminated from the stores. You can't buy it anymore. And and if you have it, they're taking off the online. They're pulling online play, so you can play it by yourself still.
Yeah.
But so you've got AI that are working with you, but it's just not I can't imagine that would be as much fun. And I don't know if it would have local, if you had two Oculuses in the same room,
right?
If you could do that, being in the same area. I don't know if that would work, but I don't think so. But that got me this to me is a tragedy. This is an absolute horrible thing to have happen.
It's a trend in gaming that is not good.
Because this is I said, this game I haven't played it. I can't review it. I can't say that it's a good game, but it sounds like it would be an amazing experience, an amazing thing to do.
It does sound like a good game.
Now the thing is, part of it is that right now the market for a game like that is pretty small. The VR market is not as expansive as it could be, and as a game like that would need to have. So I'm sure the number of players, and I think I was when I was reading up on this, that the number of players has dropped off significantly since the game's first release.
Yep.
But this is a trend where in games that we've gone to, and part of it is part of it has to do with Game Pass, part of it has to do with the availability of larger and larger hard drives and things like that, but the death of physical media, of hard copy media, I think is an absolute I think it's terrible personally.
I 100% agree with you. If we would have talked about this maybe a year ago, maybe a little less, I wouldn't have agreed or disagreed. I just wouldn't have strong opinions on it. Yeah. I'd just kind of be like, okay, Josh, whatever you say, I'll take your word for it. But no, I totally agree. And it's happening in movies too.
Right? No, and it's been and that's where it started for me. Honestly, I like movies. I like having movies. I worked at when I was in college for a summer. I worked at a video rental store, which it was the best job I've ever had. I own a lot of physical copies of movies. But there are movies out there. There's one movie that I really love. That is called Who's Minding the Mint. It came out in 1968. But I have a VHS copy of it, and I have a physical hard copy of this movie because they never released it on DVD. It's never been released on DVD. Now I have since bought it digitally, but I'm going to hold on to my physical copy because I don't know if my digital copy is going to be around for it. I can't guarantee
taken away from you
that someone some higher up isn't going to go, oh, we lost the licensing to allow you to own that movie.
Right.
We're having to pull it off of our platform.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
and I several years ago I heard this story about a guy on his PlayStation who broke the agreement.
Oh, yep.
The whatever
user license
agreements with his PlayStation. All of his games were digital.
Yeah.
He didn't own a single physical copy of a game.
Yep.
And you're when you're talking about $60 a pop for a game, then they just locked him out of his profile.
They took it.
And took all of his money and ran with it.
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to, I certainly, although I would disagree, I could see someone making an argument that he broke the agreement, whatever, fine. He paid for other stuff. But you don't even have to go that far because Sony's starting to do that with, the PlayStation 3 now. You're getting locked out of digital. So, for collectors like you, like me, like others who have a PlayStation 3 or held on to their PS3, they're getting locked out of stuff that they paid for digitally.
Right.
It's hold on, I paid for that.
Right.
That's mine.
Yeah.
It's not yours, it's mine. I paid for that.
But it's not that that's the thing.
But it's not technically mine.
It's not yours. If you can't hold it, and this became my motto this was back when MP3s were first becoming when people were just downloading quit buying CDs and stuff like that. My thing was if you can't hold it, you don't really own it.
It's not really yours.
You don't really have it. And as a like you said, as a collector of game, this leads to the potential of games that that could be classic games.
You can't get
just vanishing.
Yeah.
And going away because of a dispute between two companies.
Yeah.
How far away are we from two companies just being that developed a game together being well, I don't want to share the profits of this game with you anymore because of, we spent more, whatever argument, GoldenEye.
I was thinking of GoldenEye a few minutes ago.
The N64 GoldenEye, that game has been in this
limbo type of thing.
Yeah, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Not hell, but the other one, purgatory.
Oh, purgatory, yeah.
It's been stuck in purgatory for years because it was developed by Nintendo and Rare. Rare was bought by Microsoft.
Whoops.
And so now, they can't come to an agreement.
Come on, Microsoft.
On now, I have heard that they might be working something out. Different.
I saw a headline about it, but I didn't click on the article.
So. Different topic of conversation. But, if it hadn't been for the fact, if that game had come out now and it had just been released digitally.
Yeah. Oh, no, we'd never, it'd be done.
They could literally just pull it off of the market and say, hey, we're not going to have this game available anymore to buy. Yeah. And if you deleted it off of your hard drive, it's gone. Tough rocks, kiddo. And, that is one of the, genre-defining games of, and to me, it's this history thing. Sorry, I am ranting.
No, like I said, a year ago, I would have been okay, Josh, I see this is very important to you. It's not important to me, but, I take your word for it. But, no, I am totally with you. And for two reasons. One, I just mentioned. I don't remember exactly when, but whenever it was that I saw Sony announce that, I was I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
You're just... I can't play those anymore?
And I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna cut you off.
Do it.
For a second here. Because it's funny, because when the Xbox One... When Microsoft came out with the Xbox One, initially, when they announced it...
Oh, man.
It was this big thing where it's going to be all streaming, and there was this huge backlash.
PlayStation 4 literally won that console war because of that initial announcement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now Sony's the one who's...
now Sony's doing it.
Who's doing it.
Yeah.
And it's and it's one of those things... It's just it moved so quickly from being no, we have to have physical media to know everything has to be streaming. And I'm no.
Yeah.
No. Things should be... you should be able to buy a physical copy of
the other event that happened, along with the Sony thing... Around the same time, maybe a little bit after, there was a friend sent me an article. I don't want to misspeak or be wrong, so I'll just be real generic. It related to Star Wars and a long-standing character, and basically due to political correctness or incorrectness, however you want to say it,
right.
They were rewriting / redefining that character's history. And it's like, if you didn't have the physical DVD
right.
of Star Wars, now a movie that all of us have watched hundreds of times is different. It's gone. It's changed. And that was something that like I never considered. And so I was like, oh, this is very problematic, because if I don't have physical copies of something, I mean, without getting on a tangent, whatever your views are, it doesn't matter. It's very easy to see a scenario where people disagree over politics or whatever, and they start changing things or taking things away, or you can't have that anymore because of your viewpoints.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to lose those things.
Right.
So, no. I like I said, a year ago, wouldn't have cared that much. I'm totally with you now, though.
But yeah, no, it's just been one of my passions for a while now, where I'm literally like, it's literally just aggravated me that it's been the way that's the trend that things are going, and it scares me because again, as a collector, there are certain things, there are certain games that should be like it should be preserved, and if things are all in the cloud or just all downloadable and stream, like, you can't preserve those games, and that's one of my issues. Like I do PC gaming now. I didn't do a whole lot of PC gaming up until the last couple of years, but with like PC gaming is exclusively downloading. You can't buy physical
PC
copies
games anymore. It's all just downloaded.
At some point, I mean, the collapse of civilization, all those games are gone.
Yep.
We can't preserve that kind of stuff.
Right.
And you could make the argument, well, like, if the civilization's collapsed, you can't preserve games anyway. Like, but no, like,
I can if they're in my bunker.
Right. Like, you can still preserve that history. Like, I feel like that's still something that's important. There's a history there. There's something to be said about the way that we entertained ourselves in a particular time period that you can't, I don't know. It part of it's a history thing for me. Part of it's,
I mean, and not once ever is there a evidence of rewriting history or erasing history that's been good. So, I mean, there's that aspect of it too.
So,
I'm totally with you. To me, it's very scary for like hobbies that we like. I can foresee the same thing happening with books and Kindles and tablets, and they can do the same thing. You get locked out of your Amazon, bye-bye to all your Kindle books.
Stuff's gone. And that, again, it's why I'm not a proponent of buying things, digitally. I've gotten to the point more where because when I was in college and high school, like, I was able to do a lot, like, I was able to watch a lot more movies. And I was able to, so if I wanted to watch them, I had to own them, or I had to rent them. I had to have a physical copy. Anymore, like, if it's on Netflix, I'm probably not going to buy it. But that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are certain things that, like, if they just completely stopped making DVDs and completely or Blu-rays, as it were, at this point, I would have a real problem with it. Like, I want to at least have the option to buy it. It's just, it bothers me so much that that we're looking at a situation where there is a potentially, great game that is just going to be, black holed into oblivion, and no one will be able to ever get to play it. And for those of you who if someone is listening to this at some point who has played it, congratulations.
Lucky you.
Like,
no, I'm very, like, for a hobby, an industry, if you want to call it that like I really love. Like, to me, it's scary. it's why I've sort of very slowly started gathering more physical copies of things, and like much to my wife's annoyance, because I now have a closet full of old video game consoles that are not plugged in, and they will be someday, but it's not going to be anytime soon. Yeah. But it's because, like, for me specifically, I can see the PlayStation 2 in my closet, and it's like, the reason why is because I'll never get rid of it. Ever, because I had digital games, old school RPGs that I bought on the PS3 store that I'm now locked out of, and so like the only way I can get those is like to go to some like local shops and hopefully find them. Again,
it blows my mind that it was Sony that made such a big deal about being like, I remember the thing that they made where it's like, because Microsoft had come out with this thing, it was like, here's how you share a game on the Xbox One. And it was like this really convoluted process.
Yep.
And like Sony came out the next day and was like, here's how you share a game on the PS4.
Yeah. It was
just two people.
Like, so good. They did a great job. That was great marketing.
And you're absolutely right. They won that console war solely on the fact that Microsoft misstepped at the beginning of it. If they had announced that at the end of the Xbox One's life, who knows? Okay. It would have been, but no, the fact that they came out with it at first and were like, no, there won't be but like, that's the thing, like now both of them, like the Sony, like the PlayStation 5 and the, and the Xbox Series X are both like, you can get it with or without the disc option, and it's like,
the whole console.
Right.
You can get like a special version of the console where there's not even a disc drive.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
It's I can't stress this enough how bad this is from my perspective for the video game industry.
Yeah. I actually had I didn't have the money at the time, but I had an offer. I had a brief chance to get a Xbox Series S, which is the one without the disc drive, and I just immediately said no, because I was like, no, I'm going to have a disc drive.
I want to have the disc drive.
It's not even a choice for me.
Yeah, and I honestly, I kind of wish we had Matt in on this conversation, because I'm curious as to his thoughts. So Matt, if you're listening, you should text me and tell me what your thoughts are. Because as a PC, like, because Matt does a lot of PC gaming.
He does, yeah.
And so like for him, like it's been like this for a long time.
He's used to it, yeah.
But like I just hope that like I can't imagine a day, and I don't want there to be a day where there are no more physical copies of games.
No.
There's just too much. There's too much opportunity for things to be lost.
Yeah.
And not even like. And like I was saying earlier, like for me, there's like this history aspect to it. But like, like that guy with the PlayStation, like his entire collection of games is just gone.
Yep.
And the same things happened with people's music, like with Apple, with iTunes.
Yeah.
Like people signed up for Apple Music, and like it just deletes your entire library of music. With Apple, or at least at one point, that's what it did. It would just like go through and curate your library and delete everything out of it, so that like if you had any like special, like if you had any like rare or special CD things or collector things, it would just replace it with something that was close to it if they didn't have access to the special collector's edition thing. So
no, it's very bad.
Like that kind of stuff bothers me, and I don't like. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, there is a time and a place for it. Like I'm thinking with two examples come to mind. Like past couple of years, the PS Plus, the PlayStation Plus, one of the free games has always been that year. They usually do it at the end of the year. That year's like NBA 2K game.
Okay.
Or Game Pass does it with Madden.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I'm not going to pay for those games.
Right, and I guess the kind of the other side of the coin is like there are games out there, like if they could just update, if it gives you the option to just like, rather than having to come out and throw out a new game, if you can just
update some graphics,
update the graphics, and just Like, so a Madden game, like if
roster update.
Yeah, like here's your roster update. But you could do that with a physical copy too. Like,
oh yeah, of course. Well, that's a whole other tangent. But now, when you buy a physical copy, you stick it in and still have to download it and install it. So it's like,
right. And so really, anymore, like, are consoles separate topic of conversation that we won't get into too much, but like consoles anymore are like becoming glorified like PCs that someone else has built.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that like they're just overpriced. Like you could build a PC for just as much and it would get you further because you can upgrade it yourself and mod it yourself and do whatever you want to with it. But
yeah, I feel like for me, like I've always been someone who's preferred console. For me, it's getting to the point now where as I learn just the tiniest, smallest amount, it's like, oh, this is just a PC that I'm paying for not having to build and figure out myself. That's what it is.
Well, and even then, like, the thing with like, you can't upgrade it. You can't do anything else with it.
It's stuck like that.
This is what you've got. But I don't know. So yeah, that's the death of physical media. I think it's bad.
Very bad.
And I don't like it. And I know that that's where we're going. But to
we're
me,
gonna fight against it.
To me, I will fight it till I'm blue in the face. Like that is a hill that I will die on. Like
one garage sale at a time. We will fight against it.
Physical media is important. If you can't hold it, you don't own it.
It's not yours.
And so don't like. That's the thing. Like that's the other thing. Like buying digital things is a waste of your money.
Well, also, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, sharing a game with your friend.
Yeah.
There's a couple games recently that you've shared with me.
Right.
If like you shared Metroid Dread with me.
Right.
If you had bought that digitally, you can't share it with me.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And it's just not possible.
There's nothing I can do to give that game to you.
No. So like even if you would have paid $60 for it, which is same as paying for $60 for a disc.
Yep.
That's just like, thanks for your $60. It's the same as your other $60, but it's not.
Right. So, I don't know. Tell us what you think in the comments. On Facebook. Let us know. Twitter, wherever you follow us. Tell us what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the death of physical media, and what you think about it. So, thanks for listening. That's gonna wrap us up for this episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Thank you for listening to my rant. Because that's all this episode was, Josh's rant.
I liked it. It was a good rant.
So we appreciate it. Do all the things. And we will catch you next time on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
Bye.